They talk about the boom, but do they mention the bust? The headlines scream luxury, but the numbers don't lie. It's time to look the market straight in the eye. Welcome to the Miami Condo Exchange, where we break down the price, the scope and the range. With Peter Zalewski, the authority here, making the complex simple, making the murky clear. From the buy side pressure to the sell side heat, we're tracking every move on the concrete street. We got the data, the stats, the metrics you need. Beyond the flash and the glamour, we're planting the seed of truth. We analyze the trends, we map out the spread. Is it vintage charm or a money pit trap? We're looking at the analytics, closing the gap. Past performance, present shock, future prediction. Separating hard reality from the friction of fiction. No sugarcoating, no fluff, no disguise. Just the raw condo numbers right before your eyes. South Florida is shifting, the tides start to turn. If you don't know the math, you're gonna get burned. Yeah, this is the Miami Condo Exchange. Welcome to the Miami Condo Exchange, where we break down the price, the scope and the range. With Peter Zalewski, keeping it real, digging deep in the dirt of every single deal. From the buy side pressure to the sell side heat, the only podcast you need on the Miami street. Hey. Real numbers, real talk. The hyperbole stops here. This is the Miami Condo Exchange, y'all.
Happy Tuesday, Miami. This is Miami Condo Exchange. A statistical look at what's going on in the South Florida condo market. Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. I'm Peter Zalewski, condo consultant, expert witness, founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. What we're talking about today is how for the 6th straight week, South Florida Condo Cliff Index, both overall as well as vintage, 30 years old or older, has fallen. We are seeing the South Florida condo market start to unravel. We're starting to see the air come out of the balloon. And if you are a buyer, this is a great time. And if you are a seller, we told you so. We told you so. We told you so. We told you so. Many people on the sell side were saying, and these were developers and these were the sell side agents with listings, that the World Cup would solve everything. Lo and behold, 6-week tournament, 7 matches, people coming in from all over the world, from Norway, France, England, Argentina, Uruguay, Cape Verde. They all came here. And you know what happened to pending sales? They fell. So did listings. Listings are coming off the market as sellers who paid too much in 2021, 2022, 2023. They put their places up on the market. They were not able to get the prices that they want. They're getting hit with lowball offers. You know what they're doing? They're letting the listings either expire or they are pulling them. And as they pull them and as it all goes sideways, this is a great time for buyers and a dismal time for sellers. Take a look at the summer buying season, which began in May, goes through October. We're now more than halfway through it. What we have found is the vintage condo market, which is those condos 30 years old or older, the ones that are under greater scrutiny, the ones that have to undergo a milestone inspection at year 30. Remember, Surfside condo collapse, that's what triggered all of these changes towards transparency. Transparency in terms of sharing information related to condo buildings with unit owners as well as prospective buyers, but also mandatory inspections. Every 10 years, structural integrity reserve study or a SIRS. Year 30, you got to do a milestone inspection. Typically means big special assessments. Buildings up to 4 stories tall, we're calling it $25,000 a unit. If that building is 5 to 14 stories, we're calling it $65,000. And if the building's 15 stories or higher, that's $100,000 special assessments. You get a year to pay. If you don't pay, the condo association can foreclose on you, and or condo association can turn around and take out a loan. And when they take out that loan, that interest rate is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%. Why? Because it's higher risk to go ahead and try to fix some of these buildings. And then once the actual work is identified and the work begins, it's going to take 1 year of people swinging hammers and doing restoration work for every $2 million of restoration work that's been identified, according to a general contractor who specializes in restoration work. That's what he had to tell me. So we're at one of these situations where it becomes very challenging. And because of that, the vintage condo market, based on our South Florida Condo Cliff Index for vintage, 30 years old or older, it is now down 11% since April the 28th. The last reading in the winter buying season, which goes from November through April. Take a look at the overall condo market, all condos, which you're going to find down 9%. So as the index goes down, that is advantage buyers. As the index goes up, it's advantage sellers. Why are the indices, and we track 23 of them on the overall market, we track 23 on the vintage market, why are they unraveling? Well, they're unraveling. Listings are coming down, but you know what's coming down even quicker? The pending sales. Buyers are not stepping up and going under contracts on these units. And now beginning this week, Fannie Mae, the big buyer of secondary mortgages, that buyer who says to a lender, go ahead, put money on the street, as long as you meet certain criteria, we will then turn around and buy it from you. We will replenish your cash so you can go out there and lend again. Fannie Mae's cracking down. They are putting in place stipulations, restrictions. They're eliminating limited reviews as of yesterday, Monday. In addition to that, what they're also going to do is come 2027, January, they're now going to require a condo association to have 15% of its budget going into reserves to pay for future work. This ultimately is leading to pricey maintenance fees, hefty special assessments, and just outrageous insurance premiums. Even though there's been a pullback in insurance premiums this year, last year's hurricane season really wasn't that bad, still significantly higher than where we were before Surfside, everybody. So challenging market right now. What we're going to do at Miami Condo Exchange. And by the way, Miami Condo Exchange, what it is it is a statistical look at the marketplace. We look at the condo market in South Florida, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, especially east of Interstate 95. We look at it as a large trading pit, a trading floor, if you will. Today, you buy stock, you buy bonds, you buy crypto. You're doing it on a phone. Back in the day, you had a broker. You'd call that broker with an order. Broker would call the floor. Somebody in the floor would write up an order to give it to a runner. Runner would take it to the pit. And then you would either get bought into something or sold out of something. Now, it's all done on your phone. Well, we take that same perspective. We look at the condo market. We don't think that the people buying condos here are here for the family of four and a dog. We think they are speculators. They're trying to buy low, sell high, but inevitably they're doing it the wrong way. And this is a perfect example. If we remember in 2021, 2022, 2023, when Florida Governor Ron DeSantis broke against the trend, all the blue states, they announced that if you're up there because of COVID, you were mandated to wear a mask. State of Florida said you didn't have to do it. A lot of people flooded into Florida. Companies allowed you to work from home. Combination of working from home and you didn't have to wear a mask meant Florida was into the go-go days. We had a lot of sales. We had prices going up. We had all kind of new construction occurring. And if you went over to Miami Beach, they permitted you to get on a police car and twerk on Ocean Drive. Those days are gone. Everybody thinking about the pricing back in 21, 22, 23. They're outdated. That is obsolete. That is gone. What's going on now is the great sell-off of this rapid appreciation, this incredible number of sales, all of the pre-construction product. Now it's all starting to turn the other way, and suddenly the buyers and or the renters, the tenants, it's advantage to them. And the people who are owning condos or the people who are trying to rent out condos, they are getting jammed up as rents start to collapse. Did a report a couple weeks back saying these are the lowest median rents since 2022. Rents back in 2022, median rental price monthly coming in about $2,750. What was it this year through the first half of 2026? Coming in at $2,200. Prior to the pandemic, rents are coming in anywhere between $1,500 and $2,000. Are we going back to south of $2,000 a month rents, median? Who's to say? But what I will tell you is rents basically are the fuel that generate higher valuations. If the rents come down, suddenly you can't pay as much for that condo because you need cash coming in if, in fact, you are an investor. And many people say they're not an investor. They're buying for a second home. They don't need to rent it. They have more money than God. Well, you know what? Things change. As things change, people look to rent it on the market. And if they can't get what they need, what do? They exit. That's why we've seen a lot of people try to get out of the marketplace. Unfortunately, for many of those owners, prices are nowhere near where they need to be. And as a result, they're simply letting their listings expire, or they're withdrawing them from the marketplace, hoping that once we kind of get through this summer buying season, which again is May through October, that they might have a better chance come winter. Everything we expected, everything we anticipated. We told everybody going in the last winter buying season, which would have been November of 2025 through April 2026. We told you if you had to get out, you needed to be bold, cut your price, and get out. Head for the exits. Many people didn't believe it, discounted it, just said, it's Chicken Little, it's hyperbole. Now many of those are getting jammed up. And when the market does come back, potentially, it's probably going to be when we're talking about turkey, we're talking about stuffing, and we are talking about cranberries. Because what we're facing with right now, beginning of August, we have a lot of people going on vacation. Taking their kids on vacation before school goes back at the end of August. August is typically a dead month. Then normally once you get in after Labor Day, you're going to start to see it ratchet up before we get to November, and the winter buying season kicks off ceremonially with the Miami International Book Fair, which goes on at Wolfson campus downtown Miami. We don't know if that's going to happen. Why? Well, we know the book fair is going. We don't know if the market's going to come back. Why? We got contentious midterm elections coming up in November. Who wants to buy when you don't know what the direction is of of Washington, which ultimately is going to have an impact on Wall Street? Just to add to the mix, February the 27th, which was a Friday, 30-year fixed rate mortgage came in at 5.99%. Everybody was giddy. A lot of people on Wall Street said you need a 5 handle on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage in order to generate sales. Remember, everybody, interest rates come down, housing goes up. But you know what? If interest rates go up, housing comes down. Where are we on the mortgages today? Well, it's not looking very good. We got a lot of issues going on with the deficit, with the uncertainty of the economy, ultimately with the housing market. Now you're seeing 30-year fixed rate mortgages coming in at 6.7%, probably heading to 7%. Wall Street says you need a 5 handle at least to jumpstart housing, or a 4 handle even better, so we can rock and roll. You're not going to get back to the pandemic days when mortgage rates were 2%. No, that's not going to happen. But we're going in the wrong direction. We have a brand new Federal Reserve Chairman, Kevin Warsh, replaced Jerome Powell. Donald Trump, if you all remember, was all over old man Powell, trying to get him out. He wanted him to cut interest rates, but he couldn't because inflation was running hot. President Trump gets in his new guy, Kevin Warsh. Kevin Warsh is supposed to cut interest rates. Everybody's talking about, well, inflation is not cooperating. Inflation is supposed to be coming in at 2% or less. That's what the Federal Reserve mandate is. And you know what it is? It's between 3.5% and 4%. And the only way to get inflation under control is to raise interest rates. Everything is pointing towards strong headwinds for sellers, but tremendous opportunities for buyers if they are in the market. My quick takeaway, if you are a buyer, you don't watch any further. It's all you need to know is low ball, low ball, low ball. Start throwing out some low ball offers. Somebody ultimately is going to need to cry uncle, and they're probably going to accept a low ball offer they never would have thought they would have gotten a couple years back when everything was rocking and rolling. People were queuing up. They were winning and hoping they would win the chance to overpay. Well, a lot of them have regrets right now. They have the buyer remorse, which is what they experienced from 21, 22, 23. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to share some statistics with you. We'll show what's going on. We'll give you line charts related to the South Florida Condo Cliff Index. Walk you through it. We'll show you what's going on in South Florida. We'll show you Miami-Dade County. We'll show you Broward. We'll show you Palm Beach County. We'll wrap it all up. We'll also give you some numbers week over week over week, what is going on in summer buying season. We'll show you World Cup was not what it was meant to be, and the developers told you it was going to be great for sales, and the sales agency told you it was great for sales. It's not panning out now. Granted, they might say 2 years from now, somebody who came here for the World Cup decided to buy, but in terms of immediate reaction to World Cup and those 6 weeks of the tournament, the 7 matches, the 450,000 people who attended matches, Hard Rock Stadium up in Miami Gardens, hasn't translated into anything. If anything, people were so fixated on the World Cup that they forgot about real estate. They stopped looking for condos. So while this was supposed to be a great buying opportunity, really what it turned into was a great partying opportunity, and nobody was paying attention to the condo market. They were ignoring it because they were too fixated on what was going on the street. Keep in mind, though, something to keep in, to consider when the United States launched that attack against Iran February 28th, mortgage rates started going up. 5.99%, what 30-year fixed rate mortgage was on February 27th, a Friday. Following day, we launched the invasion, and now mortgage rates are higher, and the housing market is really stuck in the doldrums. So, before I go ahead and share my screen, I should tell you, you're watching this live, therefore you're seeing everything for free. Once the podcast is over, we're going to go ahead, we're going to edit it. We'll edit it for sound, we'll edit it for look. We'll then make it available on demand. However, if you want to see it on demand, you got to be a member of the Miami Condo Investing Club. Building an ecosystem for those people who are interested in the condo market, looking for real-time, actionable information so they can go ahead and do whatever it is they want to do, whether they are DIY buyer, they're doing it themselves. Maybe they're a buyer working with a broker. They could be a listing agent, can't get rid of a property. Maybe they're a regulator. Maybe they're a lender. Maybe they're just curious and the gadfly. Everybody's welcome to the Miami Condo Investing Club. More information, go to miamicondo.club. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to share the information as to what is happening.